Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Today's story is titled, She Kissed a Stranger to Spite Her Ex Not Knowing He Was Her New Millionaire Boss. Now, let us return to our main character. The neon glow of the downtown bar flickered against the rain-streaked windows, casting a soft gold light over half-empty glasses and tired faces. It was almost midnight when Lena Reeves, still wearing her office blazer and smudged mascara, sat alone at the counter nursing the last of her cranberry vodka. She told herself she was fine. She was over him, but when she looked across the room and saw her ex-boyfriend laughing with another woman, his arm casually around her shoulders, something in her chest twisted sharp and hot. Her best friend Nicole whispered, "Ignore him, Lena. He is not worth it." But Lena's jaw tightened. "No," she said, her voice low. "He does not get to see me broken." Before she could second-guess herself, she turned toward the stranger sitting 2 stools away. He looked up from his phone, tall, dark suit, clean jawline, the kind of man who looked like he owned the room but never needed to prove it. His calm eyes met hers, curious. Without thinking, Lena leaned in, her pulse hammering in her ears. "Do me a favor," she said, almost a whisper. "Just go with it." And before he could answer, she kissed him. The world seemed to freeze, the music, the chatter, even the clink of glasses. His lips were warm, steady, and the faint scent of cedar and something expensive wrapped around her like a dare. When she finally pulled away, breathless, she caught her ex staring, mouth open in disbelief. The stranger blinked once, then smiled faintly. That is one way to say hello. Lena's face flushed crimson. "I am so sorry," she stammered, clutching her bag. I should go." But his tone stayed even, calm, almost amused. "No harm done." Quote, she turned and hurried out into the cool night rain, her heels splashing against puddles, her heart racing with a cocktail of regret and adrenaline. She had no idea who he was, and she told herself she would never see him again. The next morning, the alarm on her cracked phone dragged her from uneasy sleep. Coffee, shower, blazer, pretend everything is fine. Her rent was due, her savings nearly gone, and today the company was introducing its new creative director, the man everyone said could make or break their marketing firm. The elevator dinged open. She stepped into the glass conference room, clutching her notebook, trying to steady her breath. The door opened behind her. "Good morning," a smooth voice said. Lena turned and froze. Standing at the head of the table, wearing the same composed smile from last night, was the man from the bar. "I am Adrian Cole," he said, "your new creative director." For a moment, the room tilted. The man she had kissed to spite her ex was now her boss. And from the quiet gleam in his eyes, she could tell he remembered every second of it. The next few days passed in a blur. Lena avoided Adrian as much as she could, keeping her head down, pretending to be buried in spreadsheets and client briefs. Every time she heard his voice from across the office, calm and confident, something in her chest tightened. She could not forget that night, the heat of the bar lights, or the way he had looked at her afterward. But at work, Adrian Cole was someone else entirely. He was focused, professional, the kind of leader who made everyone sit a little straighter. The team whispered about his reputation, the man who had turned failing companies into success stories before the age of 35, the self-made millionaire who had sold his first startup while still in college. To Lena, he was now the walking reminder of her most embarrassing mistake. One morning, she arrived early, hoping for a quiet hour before the rest of the office filled. The sunlight spilled through the glass windows, painting long shadows across her desk. She opened her sketchbook, the one she kept hidden under her files. Inside were pages filled with hand-drawn concepts, ad ideas, color boards, taglines. In the corner of one page was a small drawing of a key unlocking a heart. Under it, she had scribbled, "Unlock your voice." It was an idea she had been nurturing for months, a campaign that celebrated authenticity and self-expression. But it was too personal, too risky. People like her did not get to pitch ideas. They followed orders. A soft voice broke the quiet. "You draw." She startled and looked up. Adrian stood near her desk, coffee in one hand, the other in his pocket. He was dressed simply charcoal shirt, sleeves rolled to the elbow, but there was a kind of effortless authority in the way he carried himself. Lena straightened. "Just sketches, nothing important." He tilted his head, studying the page. "That depends on how you define important." "May I?" Before she could object, he gently turned the sketchbook toward himself. His eyes scanned the drawings, pausing on the one with the key. "Unlock your voice," he read aloud. "That is clever. What is it for?" Lena hesitated. "It is just something I was playing with, a personal project." He smiled slightly, the kind of smile that gave nothing away. Personal projects are often where the best ideas come from. He closed the book and slid it back to her. "Keep developing it. You never know when it might fit." She blinked, unsure how to respond. Was he serious? No one had ever taken her ideas seriously before. She nodded quickly. "Thank you, Mr. Cole." His gaze held hers for a second longer than necessary. "Adrian is fine." Then he walked away. For the rest of the day, Lena could not focus. His words echoed in her mind. Keep developing it. Maybe it was just a polite comment, but it lit something small and dangerous inside her hope. At lunch, her best friend Nicole leaned across the table in the cafeteria. "So, how is life with Mr. Tall Dark and Millionaire?" "Stop," Lena groaned. "It was one kiss. One stupid kiss. He probably thinks I am insane." Nicole smirked. "Honey, if he thought you were insane, he would not be complimenting your sketches." Lena poked at her salad. "He was just being nice." "Nice men do not memorize your project name," Nicole said, sipping her coffee. "Just saying." Quote, that evening, as the office emptied and the city lights flickered on beyond the glass walls, Lena stayed behind. She refined her sketches, adding color, adjusting the typography. Her headphones played low jazz as she traced the curve of the key one last time. She did not notice Adrian standing by the door, watching quietly. He had been reviewing contracts all day, but his mind kept drifting back to her, to the spark in her eyes when she talked about ideas, to the way she had owned her mistake without trying to explain it away. He admired that. Most people in his world were polished and perfect on the surface, but hollow underneath. Lena was different, real. He turned away before she could see him, leaving her in the soft glow of her desk lamp. Across town, in her tiny studio apartment, Lena pinned her sketches above the sink. Her rent check sat unopened on the counter, and the city hummed outside her window. She looked at her reflection in the cracked mirror, tired eyes, messy bun, faint lipstick stain she had missed that morning, and smiled faintly. For the first time in months, she felt something shifting. Maybe, just maybe, that accidental kiss had unlocked more than she realized. And tomorrow, she decided, she would not hide her sketchbook anymore. The following week, the office buzzed with tension. A major client presentation was coming up, and Adrian wanted a new campaign concept ready by Friday. Lena sat at her desk, half listening as her teammates tossed around ideas that felt recycled and safe. Every suggestion sounded like something she had already seen a dozen times before. Adrian stood at the head of the table, hands resting on the back of a chair. "We need something that feels alive," he said. "Something that speaks to people, not at them." His tone was calm, but his eyes were sharp, searching. Lena glanced at her sketchbook in her lap. Her fingers brushed over the corner of the page that said, "Unlock your voice." Her heart raced. Maybe this was her moment. "Lena," Adrian said suddenly, and she froze. "You have been quiet. What do you think?" All eyes turned toward her. She felt her throat tighten. I might have something," she said, voice soft. "But it is not finished." "Let us hear it anyway," Adrian encouraged. She hesitated, then stood and opened her notebook. "It is called Unlock Your Voice. The idea is that every person has a story worth hearing. The campaign would use real people, not actors, talking about moments they found the courage to speak up at work, in love, in life." As she spoke, the room fell silent. Even the hum of the air conditioner seemed to fade. Adrian listened, his expression unreadable. When she finished, he nodded once, slow and deliberate. "That," he said, "is exactly what we need." The team erupted into discussion, building on her idea, sketching taglines, debating color palettes. Lena sat back, stunned. For the first time, her voice had been heard. Later that evening, as people packed up to leave, Adrian stopped by her desk. "You did well today," he said. "You pushed the conversation forward." She looked up, surprised. "Thank you. I did not think anyone would listen." He smiled slightly. "Good ideas do not depend on titles. They depend on courage." Lena felt her cheeks warm. "Then thank you for letting me speak." Adrian studied her for a moment, then glanced at the sketch pinned beside her monitor. "That key," he said, "it means something to you, does it not?" She nodded. "When I was little, my mother used to say, 'When the world locks you out, make your own door.' So, I guess the key reminds me that I can." He seemed to consider that. "Your mother sounds like a wise woman." "She was," Lena said quietly. "She passed away a few years ago." There was a pause. The office around them was nearly empty, only the distant sound of an elevator and the faint hum of computers filling the air. Adrian's voice softened. "I am sorry. Loss never really leaves, does it?" Lena shook her head. "No, but you learn to build around it." "God." For a long moment, they simply stood there, the space between them charged but calm. Then Adrian straightened. "Go home, Lena. You earned it." The next morning, she arrived to find an envelope on her desk. Inside was a handwritten note. "Your presentation idea will lead Friday's pitch. Prepare your visuals." It was signed simply, AC. Her pulse quickened. She opened her laptop, pulling together slides, images, and colors until the project began to take shape. She worked through lunch, lost in it, driven by a strange mix of fear and exhilaration. That night, when everyone had left, she stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, staring at the city lights. Somewhere in those reflections, she caught her own face, stronger, steadier, no longer the girl hiding behind safe ideas. Behind her, Adrian's voice broke the silence. "Beautiful view, is it not?" She turned, startled but smiling. "It is. It makes the city look kinder than it is." Quote. He stepped closer, stopping a respectful distance away. "Sometimes it is kind. You just have to see it from the right floor." Lena laughed softly. "Easy for you to say, Mr. Cole." "Adrian," he corrected gently. She met his eyes, and for the first time, she did not feel intimidated. She felt seen. As the lights of downtown shimmered below them, Lena realized something had shifted. The mistake that had once humiliated her was now leading her somewhere she had never expected, toward a new kind of courage, and perhaps toward him. Friday arrived faster than Lena expected. By 8 o'clock that morning, the office buzzed with nervous energy. Coffee cups clinked, printers hummed, and half the team rehearsed their talking points under their breath. The conference room had been transformed for the client, pitch-sleek digital screens, bright spotlights, and a tray of perfectly arranged pastries that no one touched. Lena stood by the projector, clutching her notes. Her palms were slick, but she forced herself to breathe slowly. Adrian entered moments later, calm as always, his charcoal suit tailored and precise. The entire room seemed to straighten the second he walked in. He gave her a small nod. "Ready?" She swallowed. "As I will ever be." The clients arrived, 2 men and a woman from Sterling & Company, a national cosmetics brand. They exchanged polite greetings, took their seats, and waited. Adrian began with a brief introduction, setting the tone with practiced ease. Then he turned to her. "Lena Reeves will walk you through our creative direction." For half a heartbeat, Lena froze. Then instinct took over. She clicked the first slide, and her voice found its rhythm. She spoke about truth, about how modern audiences crave honesty more than perfection. The screen displayed a simple animation, a key turning in a lock, followed by real faces sharing real moments. "Unlock your voice," she said, steady now. "It is not just a campaign, it is a conversation." When the presentation ended, there was silence. Then one of the clients leaned forward. "That was different," he said, "in the best way." Another nodded. "Authentic. Human." Exactly what we have been missing. Lena exhaled a breath she did not realize she had been holding. Adrian smiled, just slightly. But in that moment, it meant everything. After the clients left, the team burst into quiet celebration, handshakes, laughter, relief. Adrian waited until the room cleared before approaching her. "You were excellent," he said simply. "The way you owned the room, impressive." Lena blushed. "I was terrified the whole time." Quote, "That is what makes it impressive," he replied. "Courage only exists in fear." The afternoon rolled on in a blur of congratulations and emails. By 5, the office had emptied, leaving only the soft hum of city traffic outside. Lena stayed behind to pack her things when Adrian appeared at her desk again. "There is an industry gala tonight," he said. "Sterling & Co. will be there. You should come." She blinked. "Me? I do not even own a proper dress for that." He smiled faintly. "Then borrow one. You earned your place in the room." Later that evening, Lena stood in front of her mirror at home, adjusting the strap of a borrowed navy gown. She barely recognized herself. The girl staring back looked composed, maybe even confident. At the gala, chandeliers glittered like starlight over a sea of polished suits and gowns. Waiters moved between clusters of executives carrying champagne flutes. Lena felt out of place until she saw Adrian near the stage, speaking with a few board members. When his eyes found hers, his expression softened. He crossed the room and offered his hand. "You made it." "I did," she said with a shy smile. "Still waiting for someone to pinch me. Please do not. You might wake us both," he said lightly. They laughed, but there was warmth behind his tone, something more than professionalism. For the first time, the noise around them faded. As the night went on, the company's name appeared on the big screen Cole Media, recognized for innovation in storytelling. Adrian accepted the award but gestured for Lena to join him on stage. "This campaign," he said into the microphone, "was led by one of our brightest voices. Lena Reeves reminded us that authenticity is not a weakness, it is our strength." The applause washed over her like a wave. She tried to speak, but emotion caught in her throat. She managed a quiet "thank you," her voice trembling but sincere. When they stepped down, Adrian leaned close. "You handled that better than most CEOs." "I could never do what you do," she said softly. He looked at her for a long moment. "You already are." Outside, the cool night air wrapped around them. City lights shimmered on the river below. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Adrian said, "You know, Lena, that night at the bar, I never forgot it." Her heart stuttered. "Neither did I." Quote. He smiled gently. "Maybe it was a mistake. But some mistakes bring you exactly where you are supposed to be." She looked up at him, her reflection glimmering in his eyes, and for the first time since that night, she did not feel ashamed. She felt alive. The following week, everything at Cole Media changed. The Unlock Your Voice campaign had gone viral. Emails poured in from journalists and new clients wanting to work with the company. For the first time in her career, Lena's name appeared in industry newsletters beside Adrian's. She should have been thrilled, but the attention made her uneasy. People whispered in the break room how the boss seemed to favor her, how quickly she had risen. She tried to ignore it, focusing on the work, but gossip has a way of crawling under the skin. One afternoon, while reviewing designs, she overheard two co-workers near the coffee station. "She must have something on him," one said. "No one gets that kind of praise from Cole unless there is a reason." Lena froze. The words cut sharper than they should have. When she turned, Adrian was standing behind her, having heard the same conversation. The look in his eyes was unreadable. He waited until the others left before speaking. "Do not let them get to you," he said quietly. "People talk when they do not understand success." Lena nodded, but her throat ached. "Maybe they are right. Maybe I should not be here." Quote, "Lena," he said firmly, "you earned every bit of it. Never let anyone convince you otherwise." Still, the distance between them began to grow. In meetings, Adrian kept his tone strictly professional. He avoided small talk, no longer lingered by her desk, no longer smiled the way he used to. The change hurt more than she wanted to admit. By Thursday, she could not take the tension any longer. She went to his office after hours. The lights of the city glowed behind him, reflected on the glass walls like fractured stars. "I need to know something," she said. "Did I get this job because I am good at it? Or because of what happened that night?" Adrian looked up from his desk, startled. "You think I would compromise my company for that?" "I do not know what to think anymore," she said, voice breaking. "You treated me like I mattered. Then suddenly you are miles away. I just want the truth." He stood slowly. "The truth is, you matter too much," he said. "That is the problem." Lena's heart pounded. "Then say it. What is this between us?" He hesitated, eyes searching hers. "Something I cannot afford to risk," he said finally. "Not when the entire company is watching." The silence that followed felt heavier than any argument. She nodded, blinking back tears. "Then maybe I should step back." Before he could respond, she turned and left. That night she walked home through the cool spring air, her heels clicking against the pavement. She reached her apartment and collapsed onto the couch, staring at the sketches pinned to her wall. The campaign that had changed her life now felt like a wound she could not close. The next morning, Adrian called an emergency meeting. He announced that the company would donate a portion of the campaign's profit to fund a creative scholarship in Lena's name without her knowing he had planned it weeks earlier. When the applause broke out, Lena sat frozen, stunned. Adrian's gaze met hers across the room, soft but steady. After the meeting, she approached him quietly. "You did not have to do that," she said. "Yes," he replied. "I did. Because what you created deserves to last longer than rumors." Quote, "For the first time in days," she smiled. "So do we," she said softly. Adrian's expression eased. "Maybe one day, when the noise dies down." Lena nodded, understanding. They both knew timing mattered. Still, as she walked away, she realized something had shifted again. The story that began as a mistake had become something larger, proof that even in a world built on image, truth still had power. And though neither of them said it aloud, both knew that this was not the end of their story, only the pause before something real could begin. A month passed, and the chaos surrounding the Unlock Your Voice campaign began to settle. The scholarship fund had launched successfully, earning praise from the press, and the rumors in the office slowly faded. Yet between Lena and Adrian, something fragile and unspoken lingered. They spoke politely in meetings, exchanged short emails about deadlines, but the warmth that had once filled their conversations was gone. The distance was professional, deliberate, and painful. One evening, the company hosted a charity networking dinner at a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city skyline. The air was cool, scented with rain and roses. Lena arrived in a simple black dress, her hair pulled back neatly. She had not planned on attending, but the foundation had insisted that the campaign's lead designer be present. As she greeted familiar faces, she caught sight of Adrian across the terrace, speaking with investors. His presence commanded attention even in silence. Sharp suit, calm expression, the kind of man who never seemed out of place anywhere. When his eyes found hers, she felt her pulse skip, but he quickly looked away. Hours passed. The dinner flowed into small talk and music. At one point, a light drizzle began to fall, and guests hurried under the canopy. Lena stepped aside to avoid the crowd, standing near the glass railing, watching the city lights blur in the rain. "You always choose the quiet corners," a voice said behind her. She turned. Adrian stood there, holding 2 glasses of champagne. "Force of habit," she said softly. "Less chance of saying the wrong thing." He handed her a glass. "You never say the wrong thing, Lena. You just say what most people are too afraid to." She smiled faintly. "I used to think that was a good thing." "It still is," he said, his tone gentler than she expected. "Do you know how many lives that campaign touched? People wrote to me about finding their courage because of you." She looked down, her voice almost a whisper. "And yet I still do not know what to do with mine." Adrian hesitated, then spoke quietly. "I owe you an apology. I let fear dictate how I treated you. I wanted to protect the company, the reputation, but in doing so, I hurt the one person who gave it meaning." Lena stared at him, her throat tight. "You did what you thought was right. Maybe, he said. But right does not always mean fair. The rain thickened, tapping softly against the glass. She laughed lightly. Looks like the weather does not care about gala schedules either. He smiled, and for a brief second, it felt like the world before everything got complicated. Lena, he said quietly, you once told me your mother said, when the world locks you out, make your own door. Maybe it is time I learned from you. Her chest tightened. And what door would that be? He met her eyes. The one that leads to honesty. I cannot keep pretending this is just work. I care about you. The words hung between them, soft but undeniable. Lena exhaled slowly, searching his face for hesitation, but found none. Adrian, this world you live in press, shareholders, expectations it does not forgive easily. I know, he said. But if there is one thing you taught me, it is that silence fixes nothing. A faint laugh escaped her lips. That sounds like something from our own campaign. Maybe it was meant for us, he said. The rain eased into a mist, leaving the city washed and glimmering below. They stood side by side, the tension finally replaced by quiet understanding. Neither spoke again, but the air between them had changed. The distance that once defined them was gone, replaced by something simple, honest, and real. When the lights dimmed and the last guests left, Adrian offered his hand. Let me walk you out. Lena hesitated for only a second before taking it, and as they stepped into the cool night, she realized that the mistake that once haunted her had finally become the choice that set her free. The morning after the rooftop dinner, Lena arrived at work earlier than usual. The office was quiet, the air heavy with that familiar smell of coffee and printer ink. She tried to focus, but her mind replayed every word Adrian had said. I care about you. It was the kind of sentence that changed everything, yet left her uncertain about what came next. By mid-morning, the illusion of calm shattered. A major media outlet had published an article, Inside Cole Media, CEO's secret romance with employee behind viral campaign. The piece was speculative but sharp, filled with half-truths and photographs from the gala, showing Adrian and Lena standing close beneath the rain. Within hours, it spread across social media. When Lena saw it, her stomach dropped. Her phone buzzed with messages from coworkers and friends, some curious, some cruel. The whispers she had worked so hard to ignore returned louder than ever. She closed her laptop, grabbed her bag, and left before anyone could stop her. Adrian found her that afternoon at the small cafe across from the office, sitting alone, staring at her untouched coffee. He slid into the seat opposite her, his expression calm but his eyes shadowed. I should have seen this coming, he said quietly. It is my fault. Lena shook her head. You cannot control what people write. But you can control what happens next. What will you do? He hesitated. The board wants me to issue a statement denying everything. They think it will calm the storm. Her chest tightened. Denying means pretending it never happened. I know, he said, his voice low, and that feels wrong. Then do not, she said. Tell the truth. I can handle whatever comes with it. Adrian looked at her, the conflict clear on his face. You could lose your position, your reputation. Quote, she smiled faintly. You once told me courage only exists in fear. Maybe this is our test. That evening, he called an emergency press meeting. The entire office watched live as Adrian stepped up to the microphone. Cameras flashed, reporters leaned forward, and silence filled the room. I have seen the headlines, he began, and I will not deny what they imply. The truth is simple. I have deep respect for Lena Reeves, not just as a professional, but as a person who reminds me daily what integrity looks like. The Unlock Your Voice campaign was built on honesty, and I intend to live by the same principle. The news spread quickly, shocking the business world. Some praised his transparency, others called it reckless. But for Lena, watching from her apartment, it felt like the first time someone had chosen truth over power for her sake. When she returned to the office the next day, people stared, but no one spoke. Adrian's door was closed, yet on her desk sat a single note in his handwriting. We told the truth. Whatever happens now, we face it together. She folded the note carefully, tucking it into her sketchbook. For the first time in a long while, she felt at peace. Whatever storm waited ahead, she was ready to walk through it beside him. The days that followed were a whirlwind. Reporters camped outside the Cole Media building. Headlines debated whether Adrian Cole had just destroyed or redefined modern leadership. Some clients pulled back, afraid of the attention, while others praised the company's honesty. Through it all, Lena kept her head down and continued working, determined not to let the noise consume her. A week later, Adrian called for a company-wide meeting. The employees gathered in the main conference hall, their whispers echoing across the glass walls. When Adrian stepped onto the stage, he did not wear the armor of a corporate giant. He looked human, tired, resolute, but calm. "I know it has been a difficult week," he said, "but we have a chance to remind the world what we stand for." Cole Media was built on stories that matter, stories about truth, resilience, and the courage to speak. "We are going to prove that again." Behind him, the large screen lit up with new visuals. Lena gasped softly. It was Unlock Your Voice, but this time expanded into a national initiative. Workshops, scholarships, and mentorships for young creatives who had been silenced by circumstance. At the bottom of the slide, written in bold gold letters, were the words, "Founded in honor of Lena Reeves." The room fell silent. Every eye turned toward her. Adrian looked out over the crowd. "Lena is the reason this company rediscovered its heart. Today, we launched this program to ensure that heart keeps beating." Cole. Applause began slowly, then grew until it filled the hall. Lena felt tears sting her eyes. When it was over, she approached the stage, trembling. "You did not have to do this," she whispered. Adrian smiled softly. "I wanted to. You gave this company its voice. The least I can do is help others find theirs." That evening, the two of them walked out together into the cool twilight. The city skyline shimmered against the fading orange sky. For once, the cameras were gone. The noise had quieted. Lena stopped on the steps outside the building, turning toward him. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. He looked at her for a long moment. "No. Every risk was worth it. The truth is, Lena, you changed me. You reminded me what leadership is supposed to look like." Her voice softened. "And what is that?" "Action," he said. "Integrity. And love that does not hide." The streetlights flickered on, painting them in pale gold. Lena smiled through her tears. Then maybe this was never a mistake after all. Adrian reached into his pocket and pulled out something small, the silver key charm from her original sketch, now crafted into a necklace. "For the woman who unlocked my voice," he said. Her breath caught as he placed it gently in her palm. "Adrian," he met her eyes, steady and sure. "You once told me your mother believed in making your own doors. I think you built one for both of us." Close. In that quiet moment, surrounded by the hum of the city they had both rebuilt in their own way, Lena realized the truth she had been afraid to face. This was not just redemption. It was a beginning. 6 months later, spring returned to the city. The air smelled of new rain and blooming magnolias, and Cole Media had not only recovered but thrived. The Unlock Your Voice Foundation had expanded across several states, helping hundreds of young artists share their stories. For Lena, life had found a quiet rhythm again: work, laughter, and the steady heartbeat of purpose. On a Saturday afternoon, the foundation hosted its first anniversary exhibit at a small art gallery downtown. The walls were lined with student projects, paintings, poetry, short films, all inspired by the campaign that had started with one simple sketch in Lena's notebook. She stood near the entrance, watching guests wander through, smiling at the sight of her idea breathing through so many lives. When the crowd parted, Adrian appeared beside her, dressed casually for once in a navy shirt and rolled sleeves. "You did this," he said softly. "Look around, Lena. Every color on these walls started with your hand." She shook her head, smiling. "No, we did this. You gave it the wings." He looked at her, admiration gentle in his eyes. "You gave it the soul." As the evening went on, the lights dimmed and soft music filled the room. Adrian took the microphone, his voice carrying easily through the space. "A year ago, a campaign taught us that mistakes can lead to miracles. Tonight, I want to celebrate the woman who turned both into art." He turned toward her, and the crowd followed his gaze. Lena felt her cheeks flush as he stepped closer, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. The audience gasped softly when he opened it. Inside was a delicate ring, shaped like a tiny silver key, the same design from her sketch that had once symbolized courage. "Lena Reeves," he said, his voice steady but warm, "you taught me that leadership is not about control, it is about connection. You turned my world into something honest and alive. Will you keep unlocking it with me for the rest of our lives?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling. "1,000 times, yes." Idak. The room erupted in applause as he slipped the ring onto her finger and pulled her close. Somewhere between the lights and the music, she realized that every wrong turn, every painful moment, had led to this truth, love, and freedom. Later, as they stood outside the gallery beneath the city's night glow, Adrian brushed a strand of hair from her face. "You know," he said with a soft laugh, "the night we met, you kissed a stranger." Lena smiled, resting her head against his shoulder. "And it turned out to be the best mistake I ever made." The camera of the world might still watch, but neither of them cared. The story that began with a reckless kiss had found its ending not in scandal, but in promise. And as they walked hand in hand through the quiet street, the city lights shimmered above them like 1,000 tiny keys, unlocking their forever.